I'm going to get up early, go to bed tomorrow for work because I got to get up at like 2 o'clock in the morning. So I'm already past my bedtime. So now we got 1st and 20 with 29 seconds left. So far, none of this has actually looked really good at all. Offensive line has been completely trash. Oh. Hmm. Got lucky on that throw by Purdy. And Jennings out there with the little screen. Not bad. Yeah, it looks like we're just letting it go down. So we will give this a few minutes as the time winds down. The San Francisco 49ers are losing to the Houston Texans 7-0 at the half. All right. I'm going to pull up the stats on everything real quick. It is hot in here. All right, we'll go ahead and get this started. This is the first of this preseason for the Niner Faithful Radio halftime report. I'm Jason, as those of you guys who are here all the time know. So it looks like right now we are losing 7-0 to the Houston Texans. And to be honest, this game, while we have looked completely like trash for the most part, the world isn't falling in. I mean, we don't have all the starters in and everything. You know, Trent isn't out there. Elijah isn't out there. Stuff like that. So it's not the end of the world, but it has looked ugly, and there have been a few things that have definitely not looked good overall. Lance, even though the offensive line didn't do much for him, he's 7 of 11 for 49 yards, which, especially on the left side, the interior between Banks and Moore, for what time that he was getting back there, isn't as bad as you thought. Like, some of the decision making wasn't the greatest in general, but when he literally has no time to do anything, it's not the worst in the world. Sudfeld, 3 of 5 for 33 yards again. Limited, not terrible. I'm not sure what Purdy had in that last part. We had Trey Sermon, who had 8 carries for 20 yards, which I think Sermon this is half and half with Sermon. Half of it is him trying to make the team because I believe he's the one most on the bubble to get cut. But it's also probably going to be somewhat of a audition for other teams. Like, look, this is what I can and cannot do, which hasn't shown much as far as what he can do, because as bad as he's looked, the offensive line has looked even worse. You can't do anything when These guys are 2-3 yards behind the line of scrimmage every play. It's like Trey hands it off, and there's guys right there. So some of the shaking and stuff like that Sermon is doing, he doesn't have a choice. He doesn't have the ability to move anywhere because he's just stuck where he's at, and he's just got to try to make something out of nothing, which he hasn't. So yeah, as bad as it looks for Sermon, and I think especially with Mason coming in the later parts, he looked a lot better. He looked a lot more decisive with basically the same offensive line behind him. I think that's where we're going to go. I think, and at the end of the day, Sermon's going to get put on waivers / cut, and we're going to go with Elijah, TDP, Jeff Wilson Jr., and Mason. I think that's going to be the 4 that we carry. Not quite sure how JaMycal Hasty fits into that. Maybe we try and cut him and pick him back up if he clears waivers, because more than anything else with everybody, he's looked the best in pass blocking. Like there was that one where Moore went outside and the lineman came straight in on him. And while Sermon was supposed to have the outside on that, it was the effort that he didn't even give. Like he just went up like that, and he just kind of stood there. And I think that's the reason why he's going to end up looking terrible or getting cut, is just because of stuff like that. A lot of people are freaking out about the defense. Again, we do not have our number 1 defense in for the most part. None of the front 7 starters were in. Pretty sure both cornerbacks weren't actually starting either. So, I mean, as much as they were getting run on and some of the plays weren't looking good, wasn't the end of the world again. Womack, they looked like they were trying to do some things with him on the outside. A little iffy. I mean, the PI they called on him in the end zone, if you're going to call that one, you sure as hell should have called the one on Debo on that first drive, because almost no difference. But tomato, whatever, let it go with that one. Let's see. But when they moved him inside, when he was covering from the slot, and then he got his hands up in the end zone and knocked it away. And then was it Moore? I think it was Moore that got the interception on that. He looked a lot better, a lot more comfortable in the slot. But again, it's final preseason game. We don't have Mosley or Ward out there starting. So why not just see what happens in case, push comes to shove, injuries, he can be put out there at the last second to get, something going. So again, overall, obviously it has looked terrible for the most part. And again, I'm not going to say that the end of the world is coming, but we definitely need Trent out there. We definitely need Elijah out there. We need everybody out there. I think right now, honestly, the best blocker on the team that played today was Kittle. And that's saying a lot when your tight end is your best blocker going on right now. So I'm actually excited for the second half. I am a really big fan of Brock Purdy. A lot of you guys have heard me talk about it on NFR. For some reason, I've watched a lot of Midwest teams here in the Seattle area. No idea why we see so many of their games here. But watching him, even in college, I always thought he was going to be a decent, quarterback just because he looks posed. Nothing is going to be too big for him. He's a 4-year starter. He's got decent mobility, not the greatest arm, obviously. But for the most part, he would have been a first-round draft pick if he was more than 6'5". I think he's 6'1.5", I think is what it is. But everybody lies on those. But had he been 6'3", 6'4", he's top 20 pick, easy. But he wasn't, so hence the reason why he dropped all the way down to being Mr. Irrelevant. So, again, I'm excited to see how he runs everything in and out of the huddle, making his reads. Because, again, he's solid out there. He reminds me a lot of Jimmy when Jimmy first got here. When you think about his play at Iowa State. You knew he had a good quick throws. He got people the ball so they could make plays. And he was mobile. Because remember, when Jimmy first got here, Jimmy was decently mobile. And he's not the greatest. He's obviously not going to be Trey, but he does have enough mobility to get around the pocket to extend plays. So that, to me, is going to be the biggest thing. We're obviously going to get to see some more of Jordan Mason. So I think he's going to do a little bit more to solidify his spot on the 53. I'm excited to see a little bit more of Jason Poe. Now, there are a couple of things coming out where Jason Poe started taking some reps with the number 1s in practice away from Aaron Banks. not terribly surprised when you look at how bad he's been playing lately. Um, I'm one of the guys that jumped on Jason Poe early. Go back look at those mock drafts. I had us drafting him, but obviously we didn't draft him. He came here as an unrestricted free agent. He signed here, so I'm glad with that. And like I said, he's looked good so far in the time that he's had. He had an awesome pancake on defensive end last week, and like I said, the dude is he's a powerhouse. Low man wins, and again, he's listed as 6 foot. I bet you he's not 5. He's probably 5'10" and a half, 5'11". But if he's getting low and is as strong and as fast as he is, he's going to win a lot of stuff. But a little short on the wingspan, but that's all right. So yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to for the second half. Is definitely going to see some more Brock Purdy, some more Jason Poe. We'll see what maybe get some. I want to see Alfredo Gutierrez get in a little bit more. I'd love to see that. Maybe I don't think he's going to make the 53, but seeing somebody with that NFL international program actually get a chance to play, great call. So yeah, that's what I got. After the game, Jamie's going to be going live. I'm probably within the hour after the game. So welcome back, Jamie. She wasn't there for last year with us. She took a year off for some personal reasons, but she is back joining us with NFR. So we're going to be working her back in. I think she's going to be doing most of the lead stuff on the post games. I think we haven't quite nailed down everything. So we will definitely see how it is. All right. Thank you for joining us on halftime where the Texans are leading us right now 7-0.